Hi, everybody.
Hey, everybody, welcome to TFT, Tarot for Today. Divine Devlin's with
Mr. O.
and me, Banshee. Welcome to
Your
your Weird Week.
And as usual, what a week it was.
It's always a weird week, isn't it? But, last week was pretty weird, all the way around. I mean, I think more than anything, though, we have to look at the shutdown that didn't happen in Congress in the United States.
Yeah.
That's a biggie. But there are some other things that didn't happen either. Funding for Ukraine, which could be a rather serious issue from the U.S. And we don't know. Maybe there are other repercussions from this.
Well, as we look through the cards, we may see where it could have pointed us towards that or not. But clearly, some of the things about the cards we had last week
definitely
did seem to fit the idea of what was going on with the government shutdown. So let's discuss that.
Go ahead. What's card one, Mr. O?
Card one was the Star reversed, and that was from the Twin Tarot Oracle deck. It was the major focus. So the Star reversed. The focus was very pessimistic. And of course, if you think about that scenario, besides any of the other ongoing scenarios, nobody seems to have good hopes or expectations about things getting better or being more productive, etc.
Well, a lot of people were certain there was going to be this government shutdown, that they would never get it together on the Republican side. But, everybody's covering their butts and nobody wants the blame to fall on them. And so there was jockeying back and forth with the Senate, too, and what the Senate was going to do. And really, I am shocked that the Senate approved this without the Ukraine funding. I'm just stunned. I think everybody's banking on the fact that, we're going to do this again in 45 days, so we'll get it back. My advice and my thinking has always been, especially if you're in labor, okay, we know for a fact that, like even the UAW right now, trying to fight to get their benefits back, when you take something away, you never get it back. So I really wonder if the Ukraine aid will come back. Not only that, why are we doing this again in 45 days? There should have been a longer agreement than that. Yeah, I'm steaming because I just think that, there's a lot to be pessimistic about, even though they did come to agreement. Nobody wants to see anybody going without a paycheck, but nobody wants to see a handful or two of members of Congress strong-arming people to get their way. That's just not the way legislation should work.
So what did we actually find out, though, from the Secrets Tarot? What were the mysteries that we might see? And that was the chariot.
The chariot was upright in this place. We did find that there was movement.
There was movement, and maybe somebody had to be that kind of commanding presence. Somebody finally said, I'm going to take charge here.
Right. And so, Kevin McCarthy went out on limbs to try to find some way to get everybody to agree, and he may pay a price for that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know what happened in the Senate. The Senate had their limits, too. Somebody was holding up the vote at the end there, too, because of... so they were stopping the movement, but ultimately it all moved forward. And I think that's the idea, that what we found out and saw is that they moved through the hurdles and they passed what they passed.
So what do you think then about card three?
Well, what is that position again?
The Three of Swords was in the position of the other perspectives we need to consider.
The Three of Swords and the other perspectives we need to consider was upright, but it can also be interpreted reversed because it's in that nebulous position, with that deck tarot of oppositions. And I feel here the Three of Swords reversed was upright, was saying that, people were going to feel some pain. And I do think people feel pain because I don't know if I personally feel pain that we have to go through this again in another 45 days. Well, what is the point of this?
Just the idea, too, of course, of the changes that had to be accepted,
right.
Pulling away, the money for Ukraine, especially. I know that, does seem like a Three of Swords kind of,
and wasn't
card.
That no money for the southern border, too, which is surprising, no funding or whatever. And it just boggles my mind, some of the things that were going on there. So I think there was pain felt all the way around. I think some people relished that pain. And I also think some people tried to heal things. There were people trying to pull people together, different coalitions together. McCarthy started working with the Democrats. Shock. And, and other things that just started to coalesce. So I think there was some healing that came out of this. Well, and so let's move on to card 4, shall we? This is going to be fairly cut and dry, I think, this week, all of this. So what was the overall impact? And that was with the Healing Light Tarot, and that was the 9 of Wands upright. Wow. So, I mean, there were things that were keeping people up at night, families, military families, other people were worried about would they be getting paid? Would money be coming through? Would child care be cut? Would different things happen, It was scary for a lot of people, and I'm sure it made some people sweat. Not to mention some of the people who had to deal with it, like Kevin McCarthy. I'm sure, even though he puts on that cool exterior, that, he knows what's facing him.
Well, here's the thing is the overall meaning of the card generally pretends towards knowing who your enemy is or knowing what the level of strength or opposition they may be employing. And so this is what the overall impact is we now realize this is really what we have to deal with.
That 9 of Wands, that 9 of Wands. Oh, I was treating it as the 9 of Swords. Did I say it was the 9 of Swords?
No, you said it was the 9 of Wands.
Well, the 9 of Wands upright indicates that people were ready to fight with each other, to get what they desired, to get what they wanted, but they could not. I was kind of interpreting it as the 9 of Swords.
I see.
My apologies. And so I feel here that, everybody stuck in there. They persevered. They had to give up some things maybe, but they hung in there, and ultimately, the government wasn't shut down for now. The other thing about this is Ukraine is going to have to persevere without us, or without the financial aid coming in. I don't know if that means all the military supplies stop too. I'm just not completely sure about all of this. So the ramifications.
So that leaves us with our final card.
The final card was what could win or not the weird week, and it was
the 7 of Swords reversed.
Yeah. It meant that truths were going to be revealed, It meant that, things were going to come out. The way I see it is one truth that's revealed to me is, as a person on the outside, and I think most Americans can look at it this way too, is, there's no legislative process here. It's just, let's wait till the last minute and force our agenda. And that's it. There's no process here to try to come to terms in advance, to work together, to collaborate on solutions that everybody can live with. It's really kind of sad. That's one of the truths I think that was revealed.
Well, I realize that we can look at this card sometimes and realize that there's some nuance there and that maybe there is something that's better about the card, but I still like to fall back on the idea that the card basically represents somebody who's not really serious, somebody who's maybe a sneak, somebody who's...
What does that sound like? We aren't going to mention names, but there are congressmen out there who actively were sneaky and had their own agendas in mind.
Yeah.
And I think one of the agendas in mind is that they want to remove Kevin McCarthy as speaker, which of course, if they do it now and if they go through the struggle to try to elect a new speaker, this could dominate the whole agenda until the next budget crisis comes up in 45 days.
Ugh.
So that's the ugly truth that was revealed as well. So did it win the weird week? I think what won the weird week is we could see that one of the truths is that some coalitions can come together. I believe here that maybe as distasteful it is for Republicans and for that matter, Democrats to work together, it seems that there are a number of people who are tired of this and they may be more amenable to working with each side of the aisle to actually get things done.
Let's hope so.
Let's hope so. So what can happen this week? Well, we do know that the Kevin McCarthy thing is looming. We do know that there is some movement, although, they aren't saying it's real progress in the actors' strike in California, well, in the U.S., and also that the UAW had expanded their strike to include more plants shutting down. So I don't know, what this week could hold. It could be something else.
There's all the political drama. There's all the world dramas, So let's get started with our first card, which happens to come from the Twin Tarot Oracle deck. And Banshee will wield that. And
wield it. I'll wield it like a sword, Mr.
And then deal us what our major focus or theme for the week may appear to be.
And this is a double major arcana deck. So there's one deck that is upright with its appearance. It looks happy and joy. Well, or upright. And the other cards are dark and reversed. So let's see what we have here. I'm hoping for a better week. Let's calm down at least for a week. I've certainly had it. All right. Okay. Here we go. It's reversed, and it's the Lovers reversed. Well, Mr. O, how are you going to spin that? Is this a Romeo and Juliet story? I don't think so.
Well, it just may be talking about things that really ought to be together, but just can't ever seem to be together. And that certainly talks about politics in general, but it could be talking about some of the major other crises of the world. Maybe it's just going to represent the people who have contrary views to what may be the more popular views, or maybe it's really much more of a toss-up.
Well, clearly, look, they either are sneaking to touch hands and watching if anybody's looking. One could look at it that way, or one could look at this as this tree divides us for a reason.
Then it has a sad angel sitting.
It has a sad angel. It's almost as if they're releasing their alliance, So one wonders again, could this be the U.S.'s lack of support of Ukraine and what it could cause and do? Is this also maybe something else going on in the world? There are a number of things happening with, smaller countries. I can't think of the name of them right now, but Nagorno, whatever, the former Yugoslavian countries are having some issues. There's just a number of things going on. Could this be true, the both sides of the strike trying to, of the strikes that are going on, trying to do the right thing, but can't quite seem to pull it together because the interests on either side are keeping them back.
So the overall theme, everywhere you look, is a divisiveness that won't let people kind of work together.
It's true. Poor choices as well. Just choosing to be recalcitrant and not willing to, lend support to one another, lend love to one another.
So what are the mysteries or things that we need to see or find out? Will we be able to? For that, I'm going to use my Secrets Tarot.
Yeah.
To see what those may possibly be.
Well, let's see what we've got.
Sniffly. And of course, what we need to find out is the Magician, upright. What we need to find out is how we can retake our power or our agency, our control, how we can really have a better sense of control of ourselves as well as controlling what we need to control around ourselves. And so this could, of course, pertain to more than just the individual person. This could pertain to many, many things.
what we could find out or see is, I could go two ways on this. Gee, really, that there's a need for mastery. There's a need for utilizing your talent skills to the best of your ability and for the good of all. It's an ethical card. It's a in its own way. It has its own standards of morals in a way, and I feel here that this could also be about somebody who can, who displays that, ability to pull everything together, maybe even pull, disparate people together, like we see here, to manifest something more positive.
So a big clue is it's probably not Elon Musk.
Whoa, he's naming names now. I don't know who it could be, but I will say this, that, it could have to do maybe with the strike. Somebody comes through with a breakthrough proposal with the strike, one side or the other. It could be that, it could be something else. It could be, maybe showing some of the leadership, the positive people who are leading in a constructive manner to try to create positive change. I don't know. And I'm not going to mention any names there. People would debate me if I said Joe Biden. People would debate me if I said, whoever. So I'm not going to go there. But there does seem to be maybe somebody who may be, leading us in a more positive direction.
So let's move on to the third card we draw, which is what are the perspectives differing that we may need to consider here.
And I get to shuffle too, right?
Right.
Since
and we will use
deck.
The tarot of oppositions for that. So first I shuffle, and then you will shuffle.
Okay.
What are these other perspectives?
Boy, has this card been coming up a lot for us today, even in our live show.
Five of Swords?
You're so close.
Four of Swords.
No.
Okay.
It's the Five of Pentacles reversed.
Ah.
Well, on the one hand, it's reversed, which actually is better than if it was upright, in my opinion. But, there may be different schools of thought on that.
Right. The other perspectives are, that maybe there's, once again, a divide in how people perceive things being satisfying or not satisfying, something accessible or very inaccessible. There may be some gray areas in between, but mostly there's kind of, we'll find that people have really contrary ideas to a lot of other people.
So that is what other perspectives need to be considered. And, we can look at both sides of this card. Again, there is an emphasis on the reversal. And in this case, the reversal is not bad. In a sense, what we will find out or see is that there could be some healing and amending offenses here, or a sense of people feeling now that they belong together, instead of separately. And so however, there are still some who are intractable. Who may feel, I don't want to be a part of this party, this tribe, this whole feeling of goodness, or I feel like I'm being left out anyway. In other words, people who can't seem to find, the open door, can't seem to accept the open door.
Exactly. I mean, it's really about, whether or not you feel like you can walk into the Big Tent, or if you feel you're oppressed by doing that, or,
Left out.
there may be other reasons why you're being that standoffish.
Interesting card there, I
It's
think.
very interesting.
Card 5 is, of course,
Four.
a 4. I'm sorry.
The overall impact from the Healing Light Tarot.
I could have said my own tarot. Thank you.
Wow.
For that, I'm
We
going
don't
to take
trust
over
you.
your global fusion.
Oh, because you know you can screw that one up. You've already forgotten one word. It's not there.
The global fusion. It says global fusion here.
Okay, well then I'll just fix it.
I know that's not right, but that's what my notes say. My badly taken notes. Oh, he's going to change it. Darn shared files. The Global Fusion Extra Space Intuitive Tarot.
The only extra space is what's in your brain that would otherwise be well used other than you.
All right. Woo, touche. You cannot out evil a Scorpio. There's just no way.
We're waiting.
I'm shuffling. What is that saying? You can wait till the cows come home or whatever.
Oh, give us a move, dear.
What is the overall impact? Healing Light Tarot. What the heck? We have, some good cards here out of them, but now we've got the Chariot reversed. And that kind of harkens back to the Lovers in a sense, does it not?
Well, I thought this one did a little bit too, but in a way, you're right. Absolutely,
because
there's
of the
a lot of
opposing
binary
forces.
Right, there's binary things going on in a couple of these cards, which is rather interesting. So the overall impact is that certain people are going to really feel like they don't have the control they need. They don't have the ability to pull things together. This could, of course, be talking once again about the factions in government.
It does sound like that, but I don't want to, excuse the expression, beat a dead horse over this, but it does seem as though it could be. I do feel here that what it is saying is that there's a stalemate. There's a stall again. There seems to be no progress, in whatever is going on here. Some people still feel left out. Some people want things to progress. There's somebody here who may have all the answers, but are people listening? Are people listening, or are they just going their own way anyway?
Well, I read something the other day that was a very interesting analysis of why, a certain politician seems to be able to maintain their hold, even though it can be clearly pointed out, what their actual mistakes, deeds are, what the actual record says. And the best reason for all of this is that they just like an authoritarian. They've been trained to like somebody who says, I'm going to make everything work the way it should work.
Well, I at least let you get your soapbox in, and that's good, because I got mine in the beginning. But you know what? He brings up a point here. We're looking at these cards and trying to figure out what they are. I wonder if it has to do with the Trump trial. Remember that this week, is also the week where damages are being discussed in the lawsuit in New York. But more than that, even, something else was revealed this week, and that was that one of the people in the Georgia trial has pleaded guilty and is helping the prosecution. And when I think of this Lovers card here,
oh my goodness,
I know, that's what I see. Somebody saying, no, I think I'm going to go my own way here. You sink with your ship,
Well,
So,
at any rate, we're on the final card, which is drawn from the globe. Oh, you're supposed to say
the
that.
Global Fusion Intuitive Tarot. And it is what could win or not this weird week. Did I do that okay? Maybe emphasized
You were
intuitive.
marvelous.
Intuitive too much. I don't know why I left that word out. I am sorry. Okay. What you got? Kumbaya.
It is the Ace of Wands upright. Look at that beautiful flaming wand.
That's really a beautiful card. I know. It's very
Yeah.
vibrant. But of course, when I saw the flaming tree, I was beginning to wonder, is that a good thing or not? But it is.
No, it's the Ace of
Yeah.
Wands, Omega or Alpha, whatever that is. And
Wow, this is certainly interesting. So something, a new, better beginning comes out of all of this. That could be interesting, you know. For who, too, is the question, you know, and where in the world, because this looks really, really positive, a new beginning. But remember, anything that's new has to be backed up by effort, you know. So this might be a fresh start, some new beginning, but where it goes from here, you know, is up to whoever's involved in this.
there's a sense of commerce or enterprise, so maybe there's going to be new kinds of agreements that maybe will be able to figure into whatever's ongoing with all of the union activities. Maybe this is talking about other things too, collaborative projects I've heard about that are going to maybe finally start to address, you know, what the average citizen can do for climate situations. So I've heard about an enterprise that's going to be doing that. So in general, it does feel like what will win the Weird Week is somebody starting something, a business, an enterprise, a network, a creative project that really could fire people's imagination and fire people's will to get involved.
Wow, that was a mouthful.
Thank you.
Good, I don't have to say anything else. But seriously, I think this new beginning, like I said, like any new beginning, has to be backed up. Or, you know what? It could be a new beginning. It could be good news, too. It may not be necessarily something getting started, but some good news that will inspire people to move something forward.
So let's do a wrap up.
Let's do. Okay. So we have number one is the major focus or theme for the week ahead, and it's lovers reversed. And it just looks as though disparate sides are making the wrong choices. They're not working together well. You know, they're choosing a darker path compared to one of light and positive energy, as evidenced here by the sullen angel.
And this could be a number of things where just people don't really have the ability to work with each other.
This could be the strikes. This could be
Right.
the strikes. This could be, you know, government again, as we see things play out this week with the threat to remove Kevin McCarthy. And
it could be the international alliances that are going on around,
absolutely.
you know, the international tensions.
There's a little rift between Poland and Ukraine right now, as well as, you know, the funding now drying up for Ukraine from the U.S. So card two is what we'll find out or see, the mysteries with the Secrets Tarot, and that's the Magician. Well, somebody's going to work some magic.
Right. It seems like maybe somebody will be cast in the role of being believable and big enough in spirit and entrepreneurial wisdom and other determination. You know, this is like a magician. You know, this is somebody who is able to maybe figure out what to do here, if only people are willing to trust that person, of course.
This is a force to be reckoned with, you know? And so I feel that way. Is it in Congress? Is it somewhere else in the world? It's something positive. It's a positive voice.
It must be an alien. Come to save us.
At this point, well, save us or eat us, but which might, either one could be looked at as good, it depending. But anyway, card three. What other perspectives need to be considered? And that is our Tarot of Oppositions.
And it's the reversed Five of Pentacles,
which can also be considered upright, you know. And again, I feel here you have people who want to, who are finding a place with others, you know. It's like almost you can see a factioning off here in a way, the have-nots versus the haves. This could be a societal thing.
Some people are always going to be unhappy.
And I should say this is the have-nots versus the haves.
Right.
It's funny because the dark is actually positive. These people have found something, whereas this one has not.
No matter what possibly changes with our realization of, you know, we're holding out for a hero, this means that really, in a way,
it was still much to contend with.
Somebody is not going to be happy anyway.
Yeah. Isn't that always the case, with this tarot of opposition?
Yeah.
So I kind of feel here that,
It's
also we might see with this that there may be financial ramifications on either side as well. Because
well,
the Five of Pentacles can be about poverty.
it's a little bit of an echo of that first card in a way,
Mhm.
but not as much as maybe the next card
Yeah.
is. Card
You rushed me
4.
out of here. I wasn't done.
Okay, go on.
I just wanted to say that, this could be an issue of the haves and have nots also, as far as financial things go, because, all these cutbacks that, people, that they, that, for example, Congress wants to do hurts people. And of course, in the strikes, all of what's going on right now is hurting someone along the way. Some people may not cry a river for the shareholders and, the white collar workers, or the, I should say, the management, corporate management, but, there's other auto businesses that are suffering as well.
It's just funny how, for some reason, we're in all these businesses, Hollywood or automobiles or anything in between, and they're all recording record profits, except they don't want to pay people.
And I think that may have been true with some healthcare too. And as a matter of fact, I have heard that there's a major, big healthcare organization that was about to strike too. I don't know what happened with that. We'll see if that happens.
All right,
this week.
card 4.
Card 4 is a Chariot reversed, and what is the overall impact? And basically, stalemate, or just getting stuck on things. It almost does sound like Congress in a way, as they do these battles.
Way, yeah.
We have also, which hasn't been mentioned here, the Biden impeachment hearing. Maybe that's getting stuck because they aren't getting witnesses who can actually give them the thing they need to indict Biden.
With the exception of card 2, the Magician, you kind of see this sort of percolating through the rest of those in a way too.
Yeah.
This divisiveness or inability to accept certain things.
Inability to harness, the disparate elements here and get them to work together, right? 3 cards like that in a way that, and
they all have a binary kind of energy too, especially the outer 2.
Yeah.
So finally,
leading to, surprisingly, a happy ending of sorts. That something good will come out of this.
It's the Ace of Wands.
Yeah, it is the Ace of Wands.
And you almost feel like maybe it's an extension of the Magician in a way too, that sort of burst of energy and will, which
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
I do. I think that that's a good analogy. It's
so
like
that
his
maybe
wand.
we could expect whatever this situation or person is to maybe have a better idea of what we should be doing.
Something is going to break. Maybe the stalemate, ultimately, and it'll be interesting to see. I could hazard a guess, but I was kind of wrong about the way, in my mind, the way the shutdown was going to play out. It didn't quite play out the way I thought. And I expected a shutdown, but not necessarily for the reasons that are obvious. At any rate, I look at this and I think that maybe it does have something to do with Congress again. Maybe it does have to do with, some of the people who are fed up with the quagmire and the different tactics that it takes to stall things.
It definitely could be something like that, because you know what? We have 3 major arcana, and so I think that does sort of take it to a different level, a more oomph kind of level, which could be government itself.
Yeah. So I guess we're going to leave you with that. I'm not going to go anywhere with this. I'm going to be watching the news more diligently this week and seeing how these cards, what these cards are talking about.
And we will see you again when it's time for another
installment of Your
Weird Week.
Weird Week.
All right.
Sorry. Take care, everybody. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.